Hey everyone, this is Ant from Ant-Man Helmet Design. Today I'm going to show you how to install our new product, the Custom Tricks LEDs. We've got 6 exciting new colours. We've got yellow, amber, emerald green, red, pink, magenta, white and blue. Okay, today we're going to install the blue for you and show you how easy it is. It's a little fiddly, but it's relatively easy if you take your time. As all of our products, you take your time and get a great result. Alright, so I'm going to grab my tools and I'm going to come back. I'm going to show you exactly what you need. We'll undo this pack and show you what you get, and also I'll tell you what they're compatible with as well, what type of shells. Alright, I'll be back in a moment. Alright, all you need is a good sharp craft blade, some 2032 3-volt batteries. You're going to need 2 of them, which makes up 6 volt obviously. That's all this unit needs to run on, and it'll run on for hours. So make sure you get the lithium type. They're cheap, $2 this cost me, right? As well as I use a heat gun, but in your case, if you don't have one of these available, just get your girlfriend's or your mum's hairdryer, a good quality one, and that's all we're going to need. Okay, let's open this packet and see what we've got. This is the narrow version. There are 2 different versions. The narrow being the version for RI helmets with this type of grill section here, as well as the Bell series, the RS series and the HP series. Whether it be the 3 or the 7 series, okay? So, because I don't think they've changed the design at all in the front section there. So there is a wider and a narrow, okay? So make sure you choose the one that suits your helmet. All the helmets that it will fit are stated on the back of the product there, okay? All right, let's have a look. So you've got your double-sided tape, and obviously you've got your unit. What we don't want to do is just be brutal with this thing. It's an electronic unit, so when you get them, it depends on whether you're in a colder climate or whatever. What you want to do is just before you install them, right, is just give them a little heat up. And what it does is it softens the shrink wrap that we use to protect all the wiring and seal them up. So just make sure that we do that first, because sometimes just here there's a little bit of a bend. We don't want to yank that up just in case we break any solders. Alright, so we want to make sure that we protect the unit. Once it's in the helmet, it's no problem. Alright, so but while you're doing your install, we just got to be quite careful. Okay? First things first, we're going to fire her up and just check the batteries are compatible. So you want your negative down first, which is the no writing. Okay, and a coin battery is only writing on one side. So put the negative first and then put your writing side positive on the other one. Okay, and this one's already lit. So there we go. So it looks pretty good. This is the blue. Looks pretty bright and very impressive. Alright, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a bit of a pre-fit and cut our tapes. So there should be enough tape there to put a piece of tape on every part of the unit that needs to be stuck down. What I would recommend though, if you want a real permanent fix, is not only use the tapes, but if you've got access to a glue gun, just put a little tiny drop of glue right on every area there that you're installing, just to make sure that if it heats up or you haven't cleaned the surface properly there when you put your double-sided tape down, that doesn't, you know, a part of it doesn't fall out. So that's probably the precautionary thing to do if you want a really permanent finish. You're not going to ever take them out in case you get your helmet painted and your helmet painted and you want to take them out. So, alright, so that's what I would advise. Okay, let's get going. The only part you need to remove out of the helmet, and what I would do, I'd just take your cheek pads out, just clear the area. Okay, take your cheek pads out and obviously the front shin section. This one is an original one from Jonathan Webb's helmet, and he's had his drink line already in there, so he likes his line through this section of the helmet in the front there where it goes straight into his mouth, not on the side. When I usually install the drink lines, they would come in from the side, but some guys are specific. It's their helmet. I'm not an advocate of you know, damaging anything, but some, you know, this is a section of the helmet that's really not impact. When I say impact, I mean around the crown of your head, so it's the most important part of the front here really. Most guys are going to run their mics, their drink lines, their everything. So this gets a lot of manipulation on every race helmet, a professional race helmet out there. Okay, whether it be Bell or Ara or another brand. So just be aware that we're going to be taking off some of this liner, right? That's where the heat gun comes in. And we're going to slice out a slight little tiny area there where we can fit our switch. So you can stick your finger in. Okay, if you don't want to do that, which is no problem, you can always try to, you know, install the switch in an area that's visible inside the helmet. But look, if you want a really good job, you just do it this way, and it's hidden and it's out of the way. Okay? First things first, we've just got to get our double-sided tape, and we've just got to cut it into lengths to put on our unit, ready for our install. Okay, so let's do it this way now. You want to put the double-sided tape on this side, the lead side. Okay, so you want to cut little tiny areas, little squares, best you can with your blade. Try not to keep your fingers on it. Okay, the more you put your fingers on it, the more you're going to obviously ruin the stick. That's why I wear gloves. Dirty fingers or oily fingers aren't going to help you at all. You can see what I'm doing there. Okay, and I generally put 2 on the back end of this battery holder. There should be ample amount there with some spare left over. Okay, so, but as I say, it doesn't hurt to put a little drop of heat glue there. Be guaranteed good adhesion. Alright, so this is what you should be left with. Back of the battery holder, on the lead unit, and on the back of the switch. Okay, now I'm going to heat this up just a little bit so it's a bit more maneuverable, just in these areas. Okay, by doing this you're not going to force anything, you're just going to soften up everything, and it'll just, you know, be able to be more pliable when putting it on the helmet. See how it sort of makes everything a little bit more less brittle, I suppose is what the words are used. Okay, so now we're ready to put it in the helmet. Don't take your grills out, okay? Leave your grills in there. If you've got standard grills, like the original Ara ones, they've got that little cloth backing. Obviously, you're going to want to remove the cloth backing, otherwise you're not going to see the lights. Alright, so just remove that first before you put them in. So as you can see under the helmet here, that's what you should be able to see. Nice area where there's to work with. You're not going to be trying, you know, get in there where the cheek pads are, make a mess. Okay, the first thing I do is I just remove the tape, the backing tape from the lead area. Okay, and then I will turn the lamps on and then position them so you know exactly where the lamps need to be. Alright, as you can see, it has got a little kink in it. It's not dead straight. Obviously that's to counter for the curve in the helmet. So what you want to do is just get them in here, don't stick them down yet, and just sort of position them where you can see the lamps are in position. Okay, that's really good there. I'm happy with that. As you can see that, that's looking cool. So you're ready to stick them down. Okay, excellent. That's what you should be left with, just like that. Pretty simple. What we want to do first is this will push up against your lead section, okay? It's like a little knuckle on the chin piece. So what we want to do is we just want to slice out a little bit of that so it butts up nicely and has a custom fit. So I'll show you that now. So you just slice just a tiny bit out here, just a tiny bit, okay? And that gives some room for the leads to go through, okay? Perfect. Okay, and then we want to pre-fit that in. Obviously I have a drink line and a mic on this one, so it makes things a little bit more difficult. You shouldn't have to deal with this at home. Okay, okay, we're going to pre-fit these back into the helmet. The drink line's out of the way. Now as you can see, you've got the switch just sort of dangling here with your battery pack. And what we want to do is we want to get this switch around to around this position here. So now we've got our chin piece in position. What we're going to do is just make a little marking right down here, the base, using Nico because generally they're painted black inside the helmet, so using like a grey lead, you won't even see it. So just mark where the latch is, the white latch, the base of that's in exactly where it is, okay? Butt it up against the Nomex and chin piece. With an SK6, you don't really have to worry because there's no lining on the SK6 helmet. It's just like a black rubberette, so you can just make a mark and slice out, it's no problem, all right? This is where we have to be careful with the lines. All right, we don't want to really force them into position. Okay, just want to make sure that we get it around nicely into that spot just here, right next to your marker. That's all we need to do, just there. All right, so you put it right on inside of the line, right, so it's hidden there, and then you know your battery is going to wind up just here, behind your cheek pad. Okay, nice and out of the way and flat. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to stick that down there. Okay, now we're going to put our battery pack in position. Move the tapes. Okay. And just put it direct center, just like this. So that's basically the setup. Can you see that? Yeah? I've left the lights going because I'm twisting the wiring, so I'm just making sure that I'm not damaging it in any way, so I'm being as gentle as possible. Once it's in, it's no problem. But when you're doing the install, you just want to be careful. Okay, seeing as I want, this is going to be a more permanent position, these leads, he's not going to take them out. I'm going to drop a tiny little drop of glue on each side of each part of the units that are down there with the double-sided tape is, so I'm going to do that now. So as you can see, I put a little dollop of glue, heat glue, in every position. Can you see that? And that should be a lot more permanent. No any dramas coming, tape removing or anything like that. Okay, so that'll dry in a couple of seconds. So now we're going to work on our chin piece. This is where you're going to need your hairdryer or your heat gun, okay? Because we have to remove the Nomex or the liner. Because it's been spray glued on, you just heat it up a little bit and it releases the glue, and then you can actually just heat it again and use that glue. You're not going to damage it or remove any of the original glue. It's the best way to do it. Okay, otherwise you're going to have to go out and get sticky stuff and spray it in there. It's just not worth the time. Okay, so I'll show you how I do it. I'm going to use a heat gun. Obviously Nomex isn't going to burn under these conditions, so we just have to slightly warm it up. We only want to remove this little corner section. Okay? It's about as far as you want to take it, okay? As I say before, with an SK6 or a Bell, you don't have to do this, okay? It's just the GP6 or the SK6, I think, is a two-piece as well. So there's going to be another position for that, but you'll be able to adapt. This is basically the technique to get it done, so we'll just follow these steps. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we know where our marker is, it's just here, that's where our switch is, just there. Okay, so what we're going to do is slice out just enough to get your finger in there, and that's it. You may have to do this and make this adjustment a couple of times, just to make it perfect. But what we want is a really nice clean area, so you just curve over those little edges. Okay. And then what we want to do is just test. Always test before you go sticking it in. Perfect. As long as you can see the switch in that hole where you can get your finger in there, you're in perfect position. Can you see that? Okay. Now it's time to stick back the Nomex. Alright, so we want to heat it up again. Release that glue. And then stretch it back around, pressing in this area there and just copying it exactly the same way as the way the manufacturers have put it on. Okay, as you can see, that's what you want, nice and pro. Okay, we've got our RI GP6 cheek pads. This is a forced air unit, so obviously there's the forced air hole. That's why it's a little different than your average GP6, the GT version. Okay. So we're going to now put these all back together. Just check your switch one more time. Make sure everything lights up lovely. Position of your lamps are correct. And now I'll put everything back together again. Okay, so now we have our position. And we're cool. Alright, and as you can see, you can't see anything inside that helmet. It's totally hidden. It still looks pro. You'll have no problems with scrutiny or anything like that. They won't even notice this. Okay, it's no different than trying to line in a drink line, putting in a mic system. It's absolutely no different. All I can stress is just make sure that you take your time with the install, as all of our products, and you get a fantastic result. They look fantastic, obviously, at night when you're racing a kart race into the evening, or even if you're just in a tin top and you just want to light it up. Okay, so I have a lot of fun installing these. There's 6 different colours for you to choose and mix and match. And obviously, as I said, for RO and Bell units only at this stage. I do hope you enjoy them as much as we do. Check it out. Get lit, dude.